Hi, thanks for having me here. So I'm Eva Binda. I'm director of director of retail development at rewardStyle, and we'll be chatting about content and storytelling, and ultimately how you can use this to drive conversion. So, how many of you are retailers in the audience? Have a brand? Quite a few. And how many of you have heard of rewardStyle? All right, great. This is gonna be fun. So, in the last 4 years, rewardStyle is 4 years old. In the last 4 years, rewardStyle has really been pushing and empowering this movement of a new influence on social media and retail landscapes, and that's content creators. So thinking about the content marketing industry, it's really new, and it's really nascent, and it's developing before our eyes. And the content creators today, the influencers, the Instagrammers, the celebrities, et cetera, they have the ability right now to ideate, to create, to generate, and syndicate content at a level that's just never been seen before. And so what rewardStyle does is we empower an army of over 9,000 influencers across 80 countries to use our tools and our products, our services, to use our education, and make this content actionable. And so these tools that we have fall into 4 major buckets. So one is our socially inspired shopping tool, Like to Know It, which is powered via Instagram, affiliate marketing, display advertising, and analytics, which underpins everything we do. So all of our products, tools, and services have 3 objectives. One, to drive demand, 2, to drive branding and awareness, and 3, to drive high-quality conversion that translates into ROI for brands and builds the business of these influencers on our platform. So here you have an example of one of the influencers on our platform, Nina Süss, a very fast-rising German influencer. And here you can see how she's made some really engaging, really incredible content on her blog. And using rewardStyle's tools and services and products, she can actually make this actionable. So think of it this way. Say I'm your personal shopper, and I show you this fantastic gray coat, and I say it's going to look great on you. And you see a picture. But you don't actually know who created it, you don't know where you can buy it, you don't know you can get it. I mean, if you see cake in front of you, you want to get your cake and eat it too, right? And so that's what rewardStyle's tools allow us to do for our influencers. So with this content, it can be made actionable, and suddenly the people who are viewing this content can actually go and purchase things. And this means it's a value for the audience, they can take an action, but it's also a value for retailers. And this is translated into quite a bit of driving more retail sales for brands on our platform. So in 2014, rewardStyle drove about $280 million in retail sales. And last year was our 4th full year of operation. And we drove, and it went. And so it drove $500 million in retail sales, which is more than the previous 3 years combined. So if you're a retailer and you don't have an influencer marketing strategy, you don't have a content marketing strategy, you're going to want to start thinking about that. Oh, there it is. So Like to Know It, I mentioned, is our socially inspired shopping tool that's through Instagram. So 12% of our 2015 sales were driven to retailers via Like to Know It. And this is a product that last year was only in its 2nd year of operation, which is pretty incredible. So talking about content channels and platforms and all these things, and you heard a fantastic presentation before about Snapchat, these content creators, these influencers, are using all sorts of different channels, and they're creating content that's specific for it. And so this is something I refer to as a trend called the urban sprawl of digital publishing platforms. Or to use some really big formal words, it's digital platform publishing, agnosticism, and diversification, which you do not need to write down. So when we think at rewardStyle about all these different social channels and all these different platforms and everything, we're agnostic about it. We don't care, it doesn't affect our mission which of these platforms that our influencers use. We want to be effective on all of them. So here you have an example of one of our influencers' content on Instagram. And so if we think about mobile's everything, right? It's everywhere. You can't come to a digital marketing conference. You can't come to any conference now where you don't see sort of that shiny slide where mobile's just growing up and to the right and surpassing desktop, and it's everything, right? And you have to be thinking about that. And so many tech companies now, so much of their value and how their success is dependent on how well they're monetizing mobile. So if we think back a couple years ago to 2013, Instagram just suddenly became the platform that everyone was using, and content creators were creating all this content, and their audiences were just eating it up and wanting more of it and following them and getting addicted to social streams and all this. So at the time, rewardStyle, we had monetization tools. We had for every single platform out there except Instagram. Obviously, that presents a challenge, right? And no one else was really doing it either. There wasn't a way to monetize Instagram. So we saw there was an opportunity here. What if we could offer the value that we offer on all these other platforms to our influencers on Instagram also? But there was a challenge in this. So as you all are well aware, Instagram doesn't actually have that many actions you can take, right? So you can upload a photo. I can add a filter, make myself look thinner or tanner or whatever. I can like a photo, but it's kind of it, right? So we thought about that. And we also thought about the fact that these mobile-first audiences, had a really high purchase intent, and our publishers, our influencers were very mobile, on the go, traveling the world. And then we thought about something else. So the most effective, or still a very highly relevant digital marketing channel is actually the oldest as well, email. So you probably don't go anywhere without your mobile, and you're checking your email. And even though it's an old channel, it's still very effective. So we thought about all these things, and that's how we came up with Like to Know It. So the way that, actually, raise your hand if you've heard of Like to Know It before, or you're familiar with it. OK, so a few hands. So Like to Know It, it's an invitation-only platform for premium content creators to join and ultimately monetize their content and make it actionable for their audiences. So the way it works is you sign up for Like to Know It. It takes a couple minutes. And then anytime you like a photo on Instagram, which is Like to Know It enabled, so it has a hashtag, you will get an email to your inbox with the products connected to that imagery. So if I took a picture of myself right now, and I had this dress, I could link to it, and then ultimately you could go to the website and buy it. So users can choose whether they want to receive these emails immediately, daily, weekly. And over 95% of the users who are using Like to Know It across over 236 countries, they choose to receive the emails immediately, demonstrating a really high purchase intent. We send over 6 million emails every single month, and this is expected to drive over $75 million in retail sales in 2016. There we go. So looking at all these brands, American, European, global brands, so these are some of the brands that are on our platform, and they span different industries, not just fashion, travel as well, lifestyle. So thinking about all these brands, they have a really interesting challenge, right? They need to make money, they need to build brand awareness, and they also need really engaging content for all these different channels that their customers are engaging with. Daily, they need this engaging content, and it's a big task for them. And also, when you start thinking about influencers and partnering with influencers, it's really tough for a brand, because they can look at an Instagram following and all this, but that doesn't necessarily equal influence or conversion. And what's interesting is, in a recent survey of marketers thinking about 2016 strategy, 73% said that they would be investing in influencer marketing. But yet, in that same survey, 44% of marketers said that they actually weren't sure how they were going to track the efficiency of that spend and whether it produced positive ROI, return on investment. And so this is somewhere where rewardStyle has been able to partner with brands to prove the ROI of their campaigns. We have something really unique in our data. We know the historical performance for thousands of influencers and who converts and what they convert for and what kinds of retailers and what kinds of products and all this. So we've started partnering with brands, and we've been doing this to not just create engaging content, but also achieve their marketing objectives. So here we have an example of a campaign that we worked on with one of our retailers, Banana Republic, which is an American retailer. And they were one of the first movers when Instagram started coming out with paid channels and ads and carousel ads and all this. And brands need content for these paid channels. So they came to us, and we worked with their marketing team to create a content campaign. And one of the influencers here, you see Ami Song of Song of Style, is quite a well-known influencer. And so we partnered with them and created this content campaign as part of a larger marketing campaign that ultimately saw really, really great results. So just to sum up about rewardStyle, so we're a strategic digital partner for global brands. And ultimately, this produces value for the influencers on our platform who are really small business owners and are able to scale their businesses while doing what they love and creating this beautiful content, whilst also meeting the marketing objectives for brands around the world. A little about us, we're based in the States, but we do have an office in London, where I'm actually based. And we'll be expanding internationally. We're expanding within the US. We're about 150 employees now, and we'll be doubling that over the coming year. And yeah, that's a bit about us. I'm happy to answer any questions at our brand booth, and thanks very much for your time.